Okay, hi everyone, and welcome to the February 2022 edition of our Family Engagement Networking Month. For those of you who are joining us for the first time, this is a monthly event that the Family Engagement and Special Education team from the ARC of Tennessee puts on to get information to families who have children involved in special education, that information that they might find relevant. So we have had questions about ECF choices come up in the past. We thought this would be a great topic for families to learn more about. So I'm going to hand it over to our experts who are joining us tonight to share what they know about ECF choices for families. We have Asia, Stacy, and Melanie here as co-hosts. They'll be able to share screens and answer any of your questions and do the presentations tonight. And for future events, if you ever have a topic you'd like us to present on or to bring experts in to talk about, you can always email me at japriya@thearctn.org and let me know. And we hold these every last Tuesday of the month from 5 p.m. to 6 p.m. Central Time. So I'm going to go ahead and mute myself and turn my video off so that I'm not interrupting the feed. And I will let Asia, Stacy, and Melanie take over.
Awesome. Thanks, Jen. Hi, Melanie and Stacy. It's been a long time since we've been able to see each other's faces. Definitely.
I know.
It's good.
So good to see you.
So we know we have some people who are still coming in. Generally, how we like to do these informational sessions is to just kind of get a gauge on the people who are here. What is your frame of reference when it comes to ECF choices? Are you very familiar and have specific questions for us? Would you like us to kind of review the program, just give you guys a high level overview, or are there some specific things that you guys would like to ask us? We have a PowerPoint, but in the past, we've generally just been able to share information. So we kind of want to do things the way that works best for everyone. So is there anyone who would like to give some feedback?
I can, if you want, if you can hear me.
Yeah, we can.
Yeah, I have a son that his name's Jonathan. He is turning 17. He's a sophomore at Green Hills High School. And we're just now, I guess, in the beginning phases to determine what the future holds, really.
Gotcha.
We're working on life skills. We're doing all that stuff. He's pretty functional, but at the same time, we're not sure what's still out there. So we are somewhat of a newbie. I mean, we're pretty engaged into the Middle Tennessee Association of Down syndrome here in Tennessee. So we're learning some from them, obviously, but just saw it came up and thought, well, we'll log on and hear what y'all have to say.
Awesome. So it sounds like maybe doing the PowerPoint, or at least maybe pulling up the website or something, would be helpful. Do you have that, Stacy?
I do. And Asia, before we forget, let's introduce ourselves. I am Stacy Irish. I'm with Amera Group ECF Choices. I cover all of the Middle Tennessee region. I work alongside Asia and Melanie.
Hi, I'm Asia Jones-Smith. I am with Blue Care. I'm the ECF Choices Middle Region Advocate as well.
And I'm Melanie Lamb. I'm Director of Member Advocacy for United Healthcare, and I represent ECF Choices in the Middle Grand region, which is where you are right now.
And Asia, I'm getting that PowerPoint pulled up right now.
Okay. One of the things I think that's important to mention is we all three offer the same program. And the program is very much geared towards the individual who's receiving services, wants, and needs. So what ECF Choices is for one individual is not what it is for another. So for Jonathan, it's going to look different than it is for somebody else. But the neat thing is it addresses Jonathan's wishes and wants for an independent life.
Absolutely. So again, we usually say ECF choices, but what ECF Choices stands for is Employment and Community First Choices. It focuses on promoting and supporting integrated competitive employment and independent living as the first and preferred option for individuals with intellectual and developmental disabilities. And this is to say that we believe, and each of the programs believe, that every person, no matter what their abilities are, has the right and ability to work, but work can look differently for everyone. But we also understand that everyone is not in a position where they may want to work or can work. And that's something that we work with the individual to assess and to set up a program to do them. We also have independent living skills, but there are an array of services. But generally, when you hear about ECF, because employment's in the name and community is in the name, that is a lot of what we talk about. But as we go on, we want you guys to keep in mind, there are a ton of services. I believe that it goes over it in the PowerPoint, but if you guys have specifics, questions about individual services, please feel free to let us know. And then these are just the 3 managed care organizations. Each of us, oh, I think there might be a little bit of an echo. We represent each MCO, but we do work together. We do all of the outreach and things together because we work together. It's just different health plans that deliver the services.
Asia had touched on a little bit. Some people think that this program is just for folks who are employed, but just a little myth buster here. This program helps anybody across the lifespan. So that could be folks living at home, living on their own, or even needing assistance finding affordable housing. Any individual with intellectual or developmental disability. And so there are these 5 different benefit groups. When a person does the enrollment process and completes all the paperwork and assessments, TennCare determines which benefit group the person falls into. So there's group 4, which is essential family supports. That's traditionally our younger folks. Group 5, that's support for employment and also independent living. Group 6 is also, it's a little bit more comprehensive support for employment and independent living and community living. And then groups 7 and 8 are relatively new additions to ECF. They service the folks who have more specifically behavioral health needs aligned with the different supports that ECF offers.
And to kind of circle back, this is something that TennCare decides. You are matched with a health plan, so AmeriGroup, United, or Blue Care. And through assessments, that is how the groups is decided. And it can get easy to get bogged down with a lot of it, but basically what happens is there's a lot of different services that are included in the services. Some are available in certain groups, others aren't. And so really the key is that because you work with an individual support coordinator and a team to create a plan, so for that individual, the caregivers, natural supports, your services or the individual services are selected based on that group. There's a cost cap, so there's a certain amount of funding that's allotted with that group, and that's how services are decided. So there are some services that aren't necessarily available in each, but just to clarify, TennCare does make that decision, and we just kind of deliver the services and help with that.
We have a question in chat, Asia. Cheryl asks if parents are no longer able to pick their insurance company. You can choose which insurance company that you go to or which you use. Traditionally, if you don't, you're assigned an MCO is what we're called, AmeriGroup, Blue Care, or United Healthcare. So you can choose.
Yeah, and if you don't, you're just matched with one.
Right. let us know if that doesn't answer your question, Cheryl. And then I don't know if we want to touch on the other questions that are in chat or wait. What do you ladies want to do?
Yeah, I say let's go ahead and answer them along the way, because we might be going over some information that they already know. So if there are.
Okay. Molly asked about the different groups. I think we pretty much answered that.
Yeah.
And then Cheryl also said, what do we tell parents and students to begin? So we'll share a flyer that TenCare has made up that is really good for teachers to have their hands on to give to students and their parents. It has a blurb about what ECF Choices is, who qualifies, and then the link to go to do the self-referral. So that'll be really good information for you guys to have. We'll share that.
And that's definitely where to start. And then there's another question. Is there a reason why you would or would not choose your own MCO? If an individual already has AmeriGroup, United, or Blue Care, there's no, that's not on our side to say. If there's a personal reason or there's certain providers, then an individual might, have a preference. Many times we see they get, a provider or a MCO is selected for them and you just go with them. But if there's a preference, you can go with it.
The question may really be, do we offer anything different? And no, the program, the ECF Choices program is the same at AmeriGroup, at United, and at Blue Care. What is different may be how we implement it, where in the support coordinators, et cetera. You would want to check and verify that your medical providers are a part of that insurance company. I think, honestly, our provider networks are very, very similar, and you wouldn't have a problem with that at all. So there's choosing the only other thing I would say is, if you have somebody in your home that is AmeriGroup Medicaid, then I would stick with AmeriGroup Medicaid or Blue Care or UHC, just because you have one customer service number to call and you don't have a lot of confusion. If you have commercial AmeriGroup, Blue Care, or United, it's not the same organization. So that may or may not work, but the problem's the same no matter who you choose.
I think a good visual way to think about it is, if a person has TenCare, your medical insurance is a different branch from your long-term support services branch, and that's what ECF Choices falls under. It's called LTSS, long-term supports. So they're different branches, but we're managed by the same managed care organization. So it just, to some people, it does make sense to keep them both under the same managed care organization, but that's that person's choice. They could choose to go with a different managed care. Say their friend said, Blue Care is better, or AmeriGroup is better, or UHC is better. You may choose to go, another route. But it's definitely a choice. It can be an informed choice if you look up on our different websites the different providers that we have and whatnot. You may be able to make a more informed choice. Okay.
I think that's it for questions right now, but feel free to come off mute or keep in the chat box. I'll keep mine up as well so that we can keep in line with that.
So there are a lot. Go ahead, Melanie.
Okay, so here are some of the different benefits that ECF Choices brings to the table. First, we're going to talk about employment services and support. So these are the benefits that a person would receive to help them consider employment, be employed, and have some career advancement opportunities. The big ones that are really, really important are the exploration and discovery. That's where you look and you consider what kind of work you are wanting to do. And then I always recommend benefits counseling as early as possible. This helps you understand how working might affect your Social Security disability income. It's very, I don't want to say it's complicated, but it's very detailed as to how you report income. If you would lose some income from your Social Security check, but you will make it up on your new paycheck that you're getting from another company. Interesting to ECF Choices is that they also support self-employment and entrepreneurship. So it really is quite an array. Not everybody's going to use each of these services, but they are going to probably start with exploration and discovery to see what they're interested in doing. If you go to, and then these are some of the other benefits. This is the fine print, so to speak. You may need personal assistance where the individual needs somebody to come and help them get dressed and off to work or off to going out in the community. You may have somebody that needs help living in the community. You need to learn some life skills. So that's a benefit. Community living supports and community living supports family models are actual residential benefits that the person can enjoy. Community living supports, you usually live in a home with a couple of other folks and live independently. Then you've got self-advocacy information, family caregiver education and training, peer-to-peer support, navigation, just a whole host of different things that you can benefit from.
I think, Melanie, it's important to mention that in determining what services and supports the individual receives, how that happens is the support coordinator, once the person's enrolled in the program, the support coordinator sits with that person and their natural support, their family or friends, whoever they want to involve in their planning. And they sit down and they really dive into what they want for their life. So what are their goals? You know, what do they want to achieve? And also, what do we need to wrap around the parents to help support what they're doing? So not replace what they're doing, but help support them while their child lives at home or even in the community. And so based on that and assessments that are done, you determine how much of what different benefit that the person chooses to have. I don't want to get too much in the weeds of that, but developing that plan with that person is how these services are figured out. It's very individual based.
And another thing is that the LTSS part of it, so the long-term services and supports part of it is if you have an individual who's in high school and they're in ECF Choices and let's say over the summer or on the weekends, they use personal assistants or they use community living supports to get out into the community to go do things that they like to do. And then when they turn 22, or when they get older and they're looking at some different things like, hey, you know what? I want to work now, or my dental benefits have changed. So now I need some dental benefit services. Or, you know what? I don't want to leave home right now, but maybe in a few years, I'd like to leave home. So let's start working on some independent living skills, which is a service that you can have. So that we can work towards a goal of living independently. And with community living supports, it's a residential, like living, you're living in the community, but it is your home. So you're paying rent. It is your place. Most of the time you're living with roommates for the regular community living supports. And then for family model, it's where you can live in a home where a provider is living there and then you're getting support. So it does change over time. I could imagine seeing this as an individual who might be thinking the program might be for them, or as a caregiver thinking I might, want to help my loved one get into this program, that this could seem like a lot. But it really is. What we like to do is to just provide you guys this information. The websites have a lot of information as well. And it's good to look at it, see what's available, and then just from this, be able to decide, is this something that I might be interested in or my loved one might be interested in? Does anybody have any questions or comments before?
Asia, I was going to mention one of the new things that we're rolling out with the long-term services program is enabling technology. Is there some technology that can help your person live independently, like is an app on their phone so that they can ride public transportation of benefit and interest to them? So each, as we said in the beginning, what would be good for Stacy is not going to be what is good for Asia or me. And so it's never going to look the same for each individual, because we want to make sure we take the person's interest in mind.
Yeah. And what's good for me this year won't be good for me, or might not be a good fit for me when I'm 65. So that's a key part that we really love of the program is that as caregivers are thinking, what does my loved one's future look like in 40 years? Maybe when my abilities have changed. This is something that's really great. You get into the program and it really does cover you for your lifespan. And so that's something that we really encourage when we have been out in the community to say, if you think that this is something that could be a good addition or a good support for you or your loved one or someone you know, if you're working at a school, we highly recommend that you do the self-referral. Doesn't take long. We'll go over that. And you can get more information after as well.
We have a handout, Asia, that we can pull up to go over that, or we can just save it.
For the self-referral?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think we can, towards the end, show everyone and even pull up the website if we need to.
Okay. I think that was it. So I'll stop sharing.
So to y'all's question about how do you get in, Stacey, you want to pull up the sheet that shows how to go to the website? You do need to do what's called a self-referral. And the important thing about the self-referral is anybody can complete the self-referral and turn it in. The exception would be you need to make sure that the person is at all interested in receiving services. We've had some well-meaning individuals who've tried to enroll people when that person really isn't interested. And so the website there in the middle, the Tennessee.gov/10care, that one is where you would go to sign up for the program. It's going to ask you just some basic questions about who you are and can you qualify. So you would complete that. What happens is TennCare will then take that referral form. If you currently have Medicaid, TennCare will take that form. And if you currently have Medicaid and you have a AmeriGroup, it would go to Stacy's administrative team to look at. If you have Blue Care, it goes to Asia's, and if United, it comes to my organization. They then connect you with the support coordinator and begin the intake process. If you don't have TennCare, if you do not have Medicaid, you then call the regional DIDD offices, Department of Intellectual and Developmental Disabilities. They will then help you make sure that you qualify financially and assist you in getting the papers together that you might need. And then you can either say, I want AmeriGroup or Blue Care or United, or I don't care, and they will send your referral to one of our organizations. And from that point on, it works very much the same. But the first step is that self-referral, that first hyperlink that Stacy has shown you.
And we generally, well, we don't get into the conversation about, I make this much money, does my loved one qualify? We highly recommend that if, like Melanie said, that if you don't already have TennCare, to call that number. But something to note, that if you have a young loved one that you think could be a good fit for the program, once they turn 18, it is their income that is what qualifies or wouldn't qualify. So that may be something to think on, if you have someone who's 16, 17, getting this information now is great. So we are always reaching out to schools to do this, because if we can get the information out and you can get, it's set in your mind, like, yep, this is something that I want to do once they turn 18, what they might not have qualified before, they could definitely potentially qualify for once they turn 18, since they're considering their income. And there are other different ways that someone who thinks that their family might, or an individual might not be eligible, and they could. So if you have questions, we highly recommend go ahead and contact the regional office number, and they can give you more details on that financial and other eligibility.
Any more questions? I'm kind of surprised we haven't seen one that we often see. What about the waiting list? You'll be pleased to know that we are working very diligently to get people on the waiting list into ECF Choices. Some of the American Rescue Act money, the what's called FMAP money, has enabled us to open ECF Choices enrollment. So those individuals who have been on the waiting list, all three of us are trying to contact them and say, hey, do you want services? We're ready to offer them to you. Okay,
Melanie, we had a question. Yeah,
I saw that. I was trying to pull it up. I'm not getting it. Okay. I have a question. What would be the benefit of switching from Choices to ECF Choices? Well, okay. So both programs offer different benefits, and we aren't prepared to talk about Choices services necessarily today, but I will. And initially, TennCare was not willing to have somebody that had Choices switch to ECF Choices, because the hope was to get new people to receive services. I don't think that they're being quite as strict about that as possible. So yeah, I think you could consider it. The main differences to me are some of the benefits. For instance, Choices does have an adult daycare benefit. ECF Choices does not. Choices does not have dental, and ECF Choices does. Choices right now does not have any employment benefits. ECF Choices does. So in Choices, when we attempt to help somebody find a job, we are very, very dependent upon voc rehab to assist them in getting employment. With ECF Choices, we have lots of providers who have employment services, employment specialists that can help individuals get jobs, and it's much easier. ECF Choices has transportation, community transportation, and Choices does not. So it's all in what is best for the individual. And if you want to consider switching, I would talk with your care coordinator, because I assume if you're in Choices, you've got a care coordinator. Right. The other thing is, if you don't know which one you want, we send in both program representatives. We would send in a support coordinator and a care coordinator, and they would discuss the benefits of both programs, and the individual would choose which one you think meets your needs best.
Yeah. And there are also different eligibility and lots of different things. But if you are in Choices, definitely the best option would be to speak with the care coordinator. If they have any questions, they definitely have a link to an ECF advocate or support coordinator. The managers, they work closely together, so they could get any information if they already are in Choices. But if they're not, then filling out those forms can help you to get more specific information for specific situations.
Good question, though.
Thank you very much.
Any other questions?
I'd be interested. I know we had someone mention that they worked with the school as a transition coordinator or transition teacher. Do we have, I know we have several, we have one identified parent. Is there anyone else that's with the school? Are there specific questions or information? We do, well, in the past have gone to schools and been able to, give insight, but do you think that there's a lot of information that people have on ECF? Are they still, a lot of questions about it, hesitation? We're just interested. I'm interested.
Well, and Asia, to bring up your point, is Asia and Stacy and I do lots of outreach programs, or we have in the past, pre-pandemic. Pandemic, we aren't quite doing as many. And we are happy to do these kinds of virtual meetings with your parents.
Yeah.
Or any organization that you might have that they have questions. The best thing we can do is get the information out there and lead you to where you need to go to see if this fits right for you.
Yeah.
Right.
So Cheryl said, okay.
Yeah,
I was going to say, Cheryl was saying that parents have loads of questions and some have never heard about ECF. So we love platforms like this to be able to get the information out. What I always say whenever I'm speaking to people is we love giving information, and we would much rather prefer us to set up a Zoom call if you have specific, like a group of parents that have questions. We want to get correct information out there. And because this is such a person-centered program, sorry, since it is so person-centered, a lot of times someone can say, oh, well, this is how the program goes, and they're a caregiver or they're an ECF, when in fact it would be much different for another individual. So if there are ever opportunities for us to speak, whether it's in person in the future or via a Zoom call or anything like that, we're more than happy to do that. We also really encourage people to check out the websites. There are some fun videos that they have recently posted. All three of us, our MCOs, have websites and information on there. Yeah, so there's a lot of information out there, but we also know that there's a lot of misinformation, and it's not for any wrong or ill will. It's just, there's a lot of information. I know you guys saw all the services and different things. There's a lot of confusion sometimes. And so we just want to make sure that you guys are getting the information, and yeah, we'd be happy to put our contact information in.
And I see that Ms. Medlock is from Shelby County. We have counterparts in other parts of the state. So if you would like something for Shelby County, we would be happy to pull that together for you. Because again, they want to get the information out too. The three of us are here in Middle Tennessee, predominantly focused here in Middle Tennessee. And we love doing Zooms in however we can. So feel free to get in touch with us. And yes, we can stick our individual information here.
Stacy has it up on the page, Melanie.
Oh, she does. Oh, okay. Well, I was going to put it in the chat thing.
And we work together. So if you reach out to me, and you're looking for a a Zoom meeting or whatever, we do them all together whenever we can. If one or two of us isn't available, we'll make sure that someone gets there, someone can be present. We have counterparts in the East and the West, all three of us. So we're happy to spread the information and want to do that.
It's starting to storm here. Yeah, I think I saw Susan on the phone call, and I was at an event with her 2 weeks ago. Stacy and Asia couldn't come, but I went. I was there. And I'll be honest, I spoke with as many AmeriGroup and Blue people as I did United people. So we are perfectly willing to connect. And yes,
yeah, absolutely.
We can call us and we will connect you with East and West.
Yeah. Just shoot one of us an email, and we'll be happy to connect you to the correct people so that they can get something scheduled. And again, like if someone isn't available, we'll make sure someone's there. Someone will be there to represent ECF, get the information out. When we're in person, we have our little Blue Care and AmeriGroup United swag, and yeah, we have I have my shirt on and stuff, but yeah, we all have our shirts, but we give out little, things, and we're able to hand out pamphlets and things like that. But Jen, we're appreciative of the opportunity to do this because we do want to make sure that we get the information out. And if you guys have any questions, you can always shoot us an email. If it's something, I always say this, if it's something that I don't know, I can connect you. I'm really good at connecting if I don't know it. So if we don't know, if we don't know, we will help you to get the information. So we know that, especially, I know Dennis was saying that, you have a son that's getting ready to try to figure out what's his next steps. And so we love ECF and the services that it has to offer. And we so love being able to share the information because we've seen it impact so many people's lives and change their lives for the better. And I have a special person that just started her own little business and it's doing really well. And she calls me like 3 times a week to tell me about it. And she started and didn't want to work. She never thought that was something that she wanted to do. It wasn't so much that she didn't think she could, she just didn't have much interest. And now she started her own business. So, and it looks different for everybody. So we love being able to help because you never know.
Well, we definitely appreciate you sharing all this information. I know, as was mentioned, a lot of times families just don't even know this is an option or that it's available. So the more we can get that out there, the better. And if you can actually email me this slide with your contact information, that would be great. I will put it up on the website with the recording of this session so that it'll live as a resource and it'll be easy for everyone to find and reach out to you.
And Jen, we actually have it for the other regions too. Do you need those? Or are you just Middle Tennessee?
We are statewide. So yeah, if you can give us all the regions, that would be great.
We can give you all 3 regions, a similar picture or layout to it, so that they can connect with those folks.
That would be perfect. And that'll save you fielding their emails. You can put them somewhere else. That'll be great. Well, thank you all so much. Does anyone else, before we sign off, have any last minute questions that you thought of? This was super informative, and I'm really glad you were able to come and share all this with us. So thank you to the parents who joined us and the teachers. We really appreciate seeing all that engagement. And next month, our topic will be the Tennessee Respite Center will be sharing about respite for families. So same time and place. It'll be the last Tuesday of the month, 5 p.m. Central Time, and we'll send out an email. It'll be on our family engagement and special education social media pages. So follow along and you can register for that one next month. Thank you all again so much. I'm going to stop the recording and maybe